Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley. And wow, we got another absolutely fantastic show coming your way. We got this guest, coming from Florida that's going to enlighten us on a lot of things and present a little knowledge, vision, understanding, and focus on if you're a leader, we need to lead in our area. But I'm going to leave it right there for the time being. How you doing, Dr. Michelle?
I am doing great, Dr. James. We have another amazing guest on the show today, and she's going to help educate us, motivate us, and inspire us.
And so, Kevin, I tell you what, Kevin, Casey, let's lock in all of these.
By James J.C. Cooley.
That's right. It's your life. Dr. James J.C. Cooley Show.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wherever you at in the world, whichever platform that you watching us on at the time, was it E36 Television, Frankfurt TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Rumble, and over 68 live platforms. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. We got an absolutely fantastic show coming your way today, and we're going to talk about things that's going to give us insight and also vision on if you're a leader or trying to be a leader. I believe that you have to stay in your lane. This guest today, I'm not going to give it away because Michelle going to beat me up if I give away the title, if I give away anything. So how you doing, Dr. Cooley?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Well, you see, I'm excited. I'm excited about the show today.
Yes, you are.
I'll tell you, we are Everybody said, well, where you guys at today? Well, we still in California. We're in California. I can't even call it sunny, but it's California. I love California. And we'll be here for a couple more days and heading back to Texas. But Michelle, can you do the honors and introduce the title of the show, the purpose of the show, and introduce this extraordinary guest that we have?
Yes. Well, today's show is Lead Where You Are Planted. And we're having a sit-down conversation with Dr. Kishima Garcia. She's a human capital executive, speaker, advisor, leadership consultant, and career coach. She's going to discuss the topics of, becoming self-aware, embrace your current role, create a positive impact, and welcome opportunities to expand perspectives and grow. Again, Dr. Kishima Garcia. Wow, she has over 18 years of experience in the demanding landscapes of private organizations, the Department of Defense, nonprofits, and public sectors. She specializes in crafting impactful programs that empower executives and managers to cultivate strong, cohesive teams that consistently drive organizational success. Supported by her doctoral degree in strategic leadership, her passion for fostering leadership excellence extends beyond formal consulting. She understands the complexities of building and leading high-performing teams in dynamic and pressure environments. Oh, she is an Air Force veteran and a military spouse, and she continues to serve by inspiring others to be the best version of themselves. Please welcome to the show, Dr. Kishima Garcia.
Dr. Kishima, how are you doing today?
I am highly blessed and favored.
Yeah, in the green room, one thing that you did not mention that you was in the service. That's you get a couple of extra thumbs up.
Because he's a military veteran. That's why in the Navy.
I bleed blue. Air Force all the way.
Air Force all the way, and all other services are great. So how are you doing? And I'm so happy to have you on the show today, especially to talk about this topic, because I believe, just my little quick, a lot of people go and in their lane, whatever that might be that they have experience in the lead. The next thing you know, they all over the place trying to lead in everybody else, and they're not leading. They are confusing people. And no one wants to follow someone that they don't have 100% full trust in them and ability to take them or guide them toward the goals that the organization or company have. So first of all, can you tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit more about you, where you grew up, what makes you so passionate about what you do, and why you're so passionate about this topic that we're going to talk about?
I was ready to jump in. I was like, let's just get to it. So I would say and thank you, Dr. Michelle, for that wonderful introduction. I think the best way to talk a little bit more about me. So I'm originally from the U.S. Virgin Islands, born and raised, and I just started taking myself seriously a few years ago. I say that because taking myself seriously is an awareness tool that I use to start my conversations. I was in an organization that was dynamic. It was beautiful. And some people pulled me to the side, some of the women who worked in my section, and they said, Kishima, you're in a really amazing position. And I just don't think that you are using your platform enough to help inspire others. And I took that to heart. I took that to heart because I thought getting the job done was me leading. I thought me keeping my head down, doing what I needed to do was me leading. I thought I was doing the job, but the job was not me. So me taking myself a little bit more seriously was realizing the position that I had, the expectations that came with that position, and becoming who I am today. And I'm still growing, by the way. So that's a little bit about me.
I tell you, and we always have to grow in everything we do and gain the experience and knowledge, from failures and also successes. I think all of those are important, especially when it comes to developing the skill set and ability to be leaders. And most importantly, I think we have to understand what we are not born, but what we have established, the credibility and foundation to lead. And I think we need to kind of stay in that area right there. So can you tell our viewers and our listeners why you chose this topic and what you want them to get out of it?
So, some people look at the cup half empty. Some people look at the cup half full. I look at the fact that you got water in the cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And regardless of what your position is, whether you are a subordinate, whether you're a kid, you are in a position of influence. So, but be aware of that. You might not know everything. You might not know everybody, but if you take yourself seriously and if you're aware of your superpower, right, you're always building on it. Somebody is watching you. Someone is paying attention. Someone is going to be inspired by you because you are you. So this topic, made me passionate because, there with some of the professional sessions that I teach, I go out and I go to conferences and I do speaking engagements and people always say, I want to be like her. And I'm like, well, who are you talking about? Because I'm still growing. When you climb in the ladder, you're not looking down, right? You're trying to get somewhere. And just like everybody else, iron sharpens iron. But if you are just aware of where you are, then you look around and you realize all the opportunities because somebody does want to be like you. Whether it's going to be good, they're going to put it in their pocket. If it's bad, they're going to put it in their pocket and they're going to walk away with something. And what is that something you want them to walk away with?
Wow. I like how you said a glass. A lot of people look half full, half empty. It got water in it. It got water. And from that point on, it got water in it. What are you going to do with that water? I mean, what is that for? How are you going to share those, whatever the goals are, the company or a personal goal, whatever? How are you going to develop and utilize that water that's in that cup to plant more seeds and to also grow? Yeah. Can you talk about that one a little bit? Did I throw you off a little bit?
You didn't throw me off. Let's lean into it. Let's lean into it because you are absolutely right. I think sometimes we're so worried about what other people got in their cup that we forgot what we have in ours, right? And once again, I come back to you can't pour from an empty cup. So if my goal is to impact people and to influence them, however I can start with a smile. A smile is contagious. Right? A laugh is contagious. And you will be so surprised how these little things, they're not complicated. They're not complicated at all. So when I say lead where you're planted, I'm just talking about recognizing who you are, the impact that you have by being yourself. Lean into that, right? I can continue to go on and on about this, but I feel like we're going to go on and on about it as long as you let me do it.
No, we're going to go on about this. But when I come back, I want to talk about, you mentioned the person need to be themselves and not try to pretend or be somebody else. I call that the imposter syndrome. But we're going to take a station break right now. Whether you're listening to us on KCBQ AM 1170, The Answer, FM 96.1, iHeartRadio, Spotify, welcome to the show. All you have to do is pick up the phone and dial 1-888-344-1170. Or if you're watching us on all these other 6-8 platforms, you want to be part of the show, go to the comments. Ask this great doctor any questions that you might have. And I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life. And we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity. Coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
A black man's point of view.
Hello, Dr. James, JC, Cooley, the James Cooley Show. Hello, it's your life. Hello.
get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Sharing his hard-earned lessons to educate, encourage, and enlighten our next generation of leaders and heroes. Get your copy of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
Now hear this. It's your life. Yeah.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's Your Life, and I'll tell you what. Absolutely fantastic first segment. I can just tell you right now, this young lady is getting ready to bring it. She getting ready to bring it. So I want everybody, if you can, just grab a couple of bags of popcorn, sit back, take heed, and learn. Look, listen, and learn. Because you're getting ready to learn some things right here. And I tell you what, whichever platform that you're watching us on, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the comments, ask any question that you might have for this young lady, or pick up the phone and call my main man, Kevin, in our KCBQ AM 1170 FM 96.1 studios. And that number is 1-888-344-1170. Oh, hold on, just in case. Let me slow it down. That's 1-888-344-1170. Keisha, okay, we were talking about, I know I'm going to turn this over to Michelle, but I want to go back off into this because you said a person had to be who they are. They can't not be pretending or trying to imitate this and that and all that and all over the place. Can you tell our viewers and listeners why that's so important to understand who you are and stay in your lane and do create your own glory and journey, etc., and not trying to just run and try to be somebody else?
Yeah, I think that we have so much different influence that are around us that suggests this is the way that we should be. That's not who you should be. In fact, you don't really know. You haven't taken that exploration into diving into who you are and the talent that you bring to a situation. Some of the things that we do should just be natural, right? Like how we engage with other people, how we interact, and of course, how we even talk to ourselves. And it should be motivational and inspiring because we want to be able to get things done. I have seen people who are compassionate, who are empathetic, who make mistakes, and that was a leader. I've seen leaders who were what some people will call emotional, but they knew how to leverage their emotions, right? Because they weren't trying to be anybody else. They said, you know what? I get it. I'm in a position of authority, but right now we got to take a beat, right? And so recognizing that, in my mind, is amazing. I have some stories. If you don't mind, I'm gonna share one real quick.
Sure.
Thank you. I went to an event. It was called Organization of Black Aerospace Professionals. I met this young man, and he was from Trinidad. I saw him walking across the street. I said to myself, he was a young man. He must, just be out of high school or beginning of college. He was actually older than what he looked like. I met him in the registration line, and he approached me. He said, "Is this your first time at the event? Do you come here often?" And I said, "This is my first time." He said, "This is my first time too." Opportunity. I said, "Can we hang out together?" He said, "Sure." Come to find out that he had been studying in aviation and working as a pilot. Apparently there are different levels, to being a pilot, and he was growing in that journey. But he came to this event because he wanted to get a job. Well, guess what experience I got? I have experience in human capital strategy. I have background in HR. I said, "I can help you. Show me your resume." He left his resume at the hotel. Mm-hmm. "Send me your LinkedIn profile." He had 3 friends. Immediately, just met the guy. I said, "Hey, I think I have some skills that I can assist you with just in this moment, but you got to meet me halfway." He says, "Okay." I said, "Before the end of every day, I need you to make at least 20 contacts. That's what you're here to do." And I said, "By the time we sit down at lunch, we're going to go ahead and go over your resume. And I need you to make sure that you have a printed copy in your hand. So when you go to every vendor, even if you don't see something that is immediately available, that you give them a copy of your resume." Later on in the year, probably, 4 or 5 months after the event, he sends me a text message and he says, "Kishima, I got a job." That was a big deal. You have no clue what other limitations existed for this young man. I was like, I felt like a mom, even though he was like just 10 years younger than me. I felt like a mom. I was just so proud and so happy because I saw the work that he put in. But he led where he was planted, and God put me in an opportunity to lead where I was planted as well. Being present, being available, being who I am, just wanting to help. And I thought to myself, it's not about me. I'm trying to inspire the next generation of leaders. And sometimes you just don't know who they are.
That's a great story. And, it's never a coincidence that you're put into a certain place. I believe that. So, leadership abilities, how does one identify, let's say, leadership opportunities when they're feeling like challenges or difficulties or constraints in, I guess, whatever they're looking for? How would you, I'll say, counsel a person who, is a leader, but, they're facing challenges in order to, show that they can be an effective leader?
The true image of a leader comes with how you handle adversity. The true image of a leader is how you handle adversity. Some people, when they find themselves in a spot, they'll say, "I give up. It's not worth it." They'll probably drag other people down with them. And, sometimes it's the consistency that leads to it. You are trying to get something accomplished. It's not working out. Let's reframe it. Let's reframe the situation. If you are approaching that situation with the same solution, then of course it's not going to work out because you're approaching it with the same solution. But if you reframe it, maybe the problem that you think it is not the actual problem. Maybe it's a different problem, but you were in a different headspace and you couldn't see it. So my recommendation to leaders, potential leaders, people who are stuck and find themselves spinning their wheels would be step back, take a look at the situation and reframe it.
I like that. Well, reframe, how important it is also to get help. I mean, I think sometimes when, someone's in a leadership position, they're afraid to look weak by asking for help or to delegate responsibilities because maybe they want to have a control over everything. But Can you go over, Dr. Garcia, the key traits and the habits of good leadership?
You know, I really feel like good leaders know when to ask for help. There's this saying that you don't have to do everything. You just have to get everything done. And sometimes what that means is that you won't be doing it yourself. That means that you may have to delegate. You may have to give it to subject matter experts. You may have to realize that you don't have that skill or that ability to take it to the end. A true leader will understand that ahead of time so you can mitigate that, because it's not about you. It's about the mission. It's about the people. It's about the end state, the journey, right? And it could be a lot more painful if you don't realize that ahead of time. If you treat people like people, give them the ability to do their best talent. But I'll also say on the other side, you get what you tolerate, right? You get what you tolerate as a leader. You get what you tolerate even in yourself by not pushing yourself to do better and not pushing yourself to see the bigger picture.
You know what? We all want good leadership, we all want to do our best, and we give 100%, sometimes more than 100%. And there is a phrase, failure is not an option, but good leaders have failed. And do you believe, and then we have 2 minutes before the break, that as a leader, yes, your philosophy may be failure is not an option, but if you set yourself up to think that, you will never fail, even though that's not what your intent is, how are you going to handle that as a leader if you do fail?
There is this wonderful saying that I've heard time and time again. There are wins and then there's lessons. So I come back to, it's about how you reframe it, how you shape what the real problem is. Could it have been something that was a lesson in that opportunity that could have saved you from a bigger concern later on? So that's the way I see it.
Thank you. Thank you. So we're getting ready to take a break right now, and Dr. Cooley's here.
Station break. Yeah, we're going to take a station break right now. We're going to come back. This is absolutely extraordinary. And we're going to come back. We got a lot more of Dr. Garcia that we're going to talk to her about. Especially, we're going to pick it up from what Michelle just said of failure. In order to be a great leader, you have to fail sometimes. And we're gonna pick it up when we get back. And if you want to be part of the conversation, I'll make it easy for you. All you have to do, pick up the phone. Dial 1-888-344-1170. Again, that's 1-888-344-1170. It's your life. And we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity. Coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
Craving a slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country? Then dive into legendary Chicago deep dish style pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy the cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is the unfiltered truth to provide hope for the future by challenging you to refuse to become a victim of life's circumstance and dare to become an overcomer, because a bigger, better, and more impactful life awaits you. Get the new audio version of his book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, by Dr. James Cooley, on Amazon or wherever books are sold.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, just sitting back just listening to Michelle and Dr. Garcia doing that last segment, and Michelle, you brought up something from a leadership perspective, and I believe over experiences, my experiences, as a leader, as a neighbor, also as a corporate exec, all those type of things. Sometimes things are not always going to go as planned, because when you're first taking over, when you're first trying to assess whatever the organization purpose and goals are, you have to assess the people that are doing the jobs. And you have to make sure that you have the right pieces in place, not just because a friend or somebody hired somebody and they got them all scattered around, and then they're not doing their job. The whole could derail the whole project. So sometimes failure, temporary failure, let's not say total failure, is necessary to understand the vision, understanding and focus. And that's what leadership, I believe, is all about. And then making sure you assess and get the right folks in order and in the right places where you can excel. And whatever that organization might be, military, whether it's corporate America, whether it's just a mom and pop store, all of those things have to be assessed and looked at. And make sure when you're leading, just like what Dr. Garcia was talking about, you have to stay in your, you got to stay in your lane from a leadership perspective. Now you have to be able to adjust to the different type of personalities and everybody that's there, but you got to lead. You have to lead by example. You have to look, listen, and learn to your people. You take all these things in consideration. Dr. Garcia, what are your thoughts on that?
I think you said it very, very eloquently. One of my past supervisors said to me one time, he said, if I'm in the engine room, who's steering the ship? It has to do with individuals that are stepping outside of their roles to do other people's jobs. So we go back into trust your people. And if you don't trust them, maybe they're not in the right position. And a very humble opportunity to ask yourself, are you in the right position? Or even, are you looking at the situation the right way? And essentially you get what you tolerate. But sometimes there are individuals who don't do well because they're not in the right role and they don't have the opportunity to shine using the natural skills that they have. So they, in their minds, they can't lead where they're planted, but they can if they give you an opportunity and they're self-aware of what their superpower is.
Funny you mentioned that. When I took over as division officer board for Blue Ridge, actually department head, and when I came on, and we had about 180 something folks, leaders that were there, and things wasn't getting done, and it was flagship. The president, everybody coming to our ship, and I had to assess, and I noticed that I had a lot of people that was not in the right position. I know when the military, they send you orders, they send you people, right? But just because you got them, you have to make sure that you put them in the right positions in order to accomplish whatever that is. So sometimes we have to make tough decisions. And sometimes what I did, to be honest with you, I took over, looked at it for about 30, 40 days. I talked to the captain. He said, fix it. Whatever you have to do. I went down, I fired everybody. And then I turned around and rehired them at the same time and put them in the right positions. So I mean, I fired them all. Bam! All the leaders. Now you all are fired. We're gonna go tell the captain. Do what he got to do. And they went and told the captain. Now turn around and I said, now I'm gonna put you in there. I'm gonna rehire you in the right positions. So sometimes the awareness of the capabilities and abilities of individuals as a leader, you have to understand each one of the different personalities and the pros and the cons of each one, and make sure that those folks, especially in the military, because you really can't find nobody in the military. I mean, make sure that they are in the right position for them to excel and get promoted and advance up the chain and along with everything. What are your thoughts on that? Awareness of your people.
So, I think it is an absolutely wonderful tool when you are aware of your people. But I come back to treat people like people. I had this one client that asked me this question, and I thought it was amazing. Mm-hmm. They said, how can I interact with some of my new subordinates that are outside of my normal field of work? Mm-hmm. I said, well, what do you mean? Well, I mean, I want to know, like, what would be the best way to supervise them? My response, ask them. Right? Ask them. And so the question ended up being, how do you like to be led? Right. And so we had this great conversation, and so we pretty much like role played the situation. And I said, you know what, if you asked me this question, my response would have been, I would like for you to treat me like an adult. Right? If I do something wrong, tell me I did something wrong, give me the opportunity to fix it. Right? But also, if I do something right and I've been doing it in a consistent manner and I deserve some flowers, give me my flowers because I deserved it. Because then I'm going to look at the value that I have. And if I'm aware of my value, I'm going to look at the value that the company brings to me, understanding that sometimes it has to be leveled out. And if I don't feel like I am being rewarded or looked at the appropriate way when it comes to opportunities that are in the organization, then I might question if you see the value that I have. And that comes with a constant feedback, so I come back to, there's nothing wrong with asking a question like, how do you want to be treated? Or how am I doing? Or what can I do better? Once again, it's about how leaders handle adversity. But if you ask all those questions before, when you get there, then you don't have to be concerned about how this person is going to react to this particular situation, right? Because they already told you, treat me like an adult, right? And if you have to fire me, then at least I respect that. Ugh, okay, I wouldn't want to be fired, but I would respect if I worked and I had to move to a different department or section because I wasn't using all of my superpowers and my leadership saw that I would be better fit in a different role or position. But I would have loved a great conversation.
So what I mentioned by fire is you fired them from their current job, but you put them in the right job that they probably should have been in to excel. And sometimes that's a tough decision. Well, they're gonna think this or whatever. They're not gonna. Who cares? Now you have to do that adult or whatever. I mean, respect thing. But it comes both ways. And when you identify and you talk about rewards, just a simple, hey, in front of, we had quarters, I don't know what you call that, when you got to have everybody there meeting at the same time. And so probably didn't know that they were doing such a great job. Nobody ever told them you call them up, identify that and give them a form of record, and then they got the chest stuck out. They gonna fight for you. They gonna go back and do, but you have to do that for all of your people. And and that's just like what you just said is what type of leader are they expecting of you? So if you don't know the question, you got to ask. If you don't ask, something, you're gonna be walking around in the blind. What is your expectation of me? And I think leaders today, they just don't do it. They just say, hey, just go out there and do it. And productivity and growth and everything is more than just about the money. It's about building up a team. So I like how you put that in the words that I can tell you're an extraordinary at what you do right now. So how does embracing philosophy helps to foster resilience and adaptability to personnel's in a personal setting and also an informal and a formal setting, where everybody feel that they are part of the team?
Absolutely. It changes the way that you see people. It changes the way that you see your workforce, and it actually empowers them to bring their best self to work. Recently, I was teaching a class, and I gave them an assessment. The assessment had 2 columns on it, same question. The goal was to rate from 1 to 5 in each column how you saw yourself as a person or as a subordinate, and the expectations that you had from your leaders. You would be surprised. People had higher expectation of their leaders than they did of themselves. Maybe you won't be surprised. They had higher expectation of their leaders than they did of themselves. What a wonderful opportunity to have a conversation. So one of the things that someone had asked was, well, I don't really feel like on this accountability portion, right? Because they asked questions like, do you believe that you should have compassion? What about your leaders? Do you believe that you should have empathy? What about your leaders? You believe you should have accountability? What about your leaders? They said, I don't think that I should have more accountability than my leaders. They said, can you help me with that? I said, yes, of course. I said, if you ran into a problem and you didn't do something right, you made a mistake, would you expect your leader to come down and tell you to fix it? Or would you have preferred you go to your leader and said, I had a problem, but I fixed it. This is what I did.
Wow. Hold that thought.
You're absolutely right.
Hold that thought. We got to take a station break. We got to pay the bills. This is an extraordinary discussion. I tell you what. I know you are learning a lot. Dr. Garcia is putting it out there. And it's not too late to be part of the conversation. If you want to be part of this conversation, we got another full segment to go. All you have to do is pick up the phone, dial 1-888-344-1170. 1-888-344-1170. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
There's more stories of greatness to help you overcome adversity. Coming up on It's Your Life with James Cooley.
A black man. Doctor James J.C. Cooley. James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Hello, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection.
to adjust from city life to country life and back again, sharing his hard-earned lessons to educate, encourage, and enlighten our next generation of leaders and heroes. Get your copy of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James J.C. Cooley, available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold.
Craving a slice of Chicago right here in Temecula wine country? Then dive into legendary Chicago pizza at Rosati's Pizza Pub. Piled high with gooey cheese, rich tomato sauce, and your favorite toppings, Rosati's delivers the taste of the Windy City right to your table or front door. Enjoy the cozy pub atmosphere and an impressive selection of Temecula wines. Come on down to Rosati's Pizza Pub for your slice of Chicago right here on Rancho California Road, or order online at myrosatis.com. Rosati's, where Chicago deep dish pizza meets Temecula charm.
Hey, it's your life. With Dr. James JC.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I'm enjoying this extraordinary guest that we got here. I mean, you can tell she's very good at what she does, and you might want to invite her to your organization to help whatever type of issues or concerns or problems that you might have. And I didn't mean to advertise for you like that, because I don't know if you just Florida, or you just if they call you and say, hey, we need you to come help me fix these problems. If they needed that, how could they get in touch with you? How would they be able to enlist your services?
They can absolutely jump to my website at mypmgc.com, or reach out to me on LinkedIn, or send me an email at kishima@mypmgc.com. I am excited to be a part of an organizational structure and help to put those things together, because sometimes you just need an outside perspective to help you reframe what the problem really is.
Absolutely.
Dr. Kishima, my question is this. Sometimes people don't know, the leader doesn't know what the problem is. Denial, or they're old school. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So they're comfortable in how things are going. But it's possible they don't see the possibilities that lie ahead if you open your mind to new ideas, and also bring in people who can inspire you to grow. Can you kind of talk about that?
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Michelle. So, in life, there's expensive lessons and they're not so expensive lessons. That will probably be the best way for me to say that. And as we are in a world where we still have 5 generations in the workforce, we are absolutely going to have differences in opinion, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, the question is what are we working towards? We are working towards mission success. And if your best interest is in the organization, then you are going to do the things that need to be done so the organization can be successful. That means even maybe giving up a little bit of authority, right? Because for you to be able to lead where you are planted, that means that you have to take a look around, and you got to take a look at yourself, and you have to identify, what are we actually trying to accomplish? And so it might not necessarily be what is the problem, is what are we trying to do, right? And if the goal is to be successful, then you may be saying, well, if we're trying to go left, then why are we going right? We need to stop doing this so we can get over here. But once again, if I have seen it where people will hire, consultants or people to come in, and they say, but I don't have that problem. Well, you know what? There is going to be a point where this lesson is going to get real expensive, right? And it's not for the fee that you pay the consultant. It is the potential lawsuits that may come along. Because when you have people, you got people problems, right? And anything could happen. The one thing that people forget is that people are unpredictable. And if you don't have policies and processes in place, and you don't understand about the dynamics that are occurring in your organization, then you may just be making a very expensive lesson.
Dr. Kamisha, what does embracing your current role really mean?
Yeah, so embracing your current role is, I would say, for individuals who look at, promoting, and the easy question would say, okay, well, where would you like to be in 5 years? Right now, the trend is that individuals are generally not going to be with an organization for 20 years. Turnover retention kind of looks like about 2 to 3 years at the most before they move on to another agency. But as a person who's looking at your resume, for example, I want to see your growth. What have you done for this organization? What can you contribute to my organization, for example? And so you go, people who are resourceful. But there are other things, right? I say that it's about your employee value proposition. Why am I doing this job? How can it help me out as a person? I got a quick story. I had an individual who I was assisting do this amazing flight to the Virgin Islands. And I'm so proud of that flight because I also had an opportunity to go and influence over 1,500 kids, right? Who had no clue that they were interested in aviation had we not took that flight. It would have been because we didn't have all of the people. Of course, we reach out, we say, hey, we're going to be doing this thing in your area. And I don't think people realize what we were trying to do and the accomplishments we were trying to have. No one really reached back out to us. One of my colleagues, she says, you know what? This is not going to be a bust. At the time, we were only going to be able to influence about, 200-300 kids. We said, well, it was about the intent. But let's try one more. She said, I'm going to take it a step level. I'm going to go to my social media account and I'm just going to post it, right? I'm just going to post it. I'm going to see what happens. Teachers, leaders within the community, everybody said, oh my gosh, this is an amazing opportunity. One of our own is coming home, right? One of our own will be able to influence the next generation of kids. One of our own is going to be more, or I guess if the Army would say, all that you can be. And it was an amazing experience. And you know what they said? We needed this. The community needed this. And it made me feel so good because right before she posted that on LinkedIn, right before she went into other areas of influence, she said, I don't know, is this it? Is this all we are going to have? And then she leveraged her contacts. She leveraged her community and it worked out.
We almost out of time. But I tell you what, we never got into talking about welcome opportunity, span, perspective, all that stuff. I would love to have you back on the show again to pick up from where we're at right now and also expand on other things. I think you are extraordinary guests. So I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. I'd like to thank Dr. Michelle Cooley for putting together another absolutely fantastic show. I'd like to thank our studios at KCBQ AM 1170 FM 96.1. Kevin, Todd, Steve, Chris, thank you. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and our listeners for tuning in to the James Cooley Show. And I tell you what, always tune in because this is the place where we teach you how to dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's your life. We'll see you then.